I have a loaded question for you. What do you think this is? This is a paper scrap that came off of a huge collection of decayed posters that I found in downtown Los Angeles. It's really nondescript and for most people not that interesting. But when I see something like this, I see opportunity. Now, if you've seen my work, then you probably know this is going to end up in a painting or something like that. But what I've come to find out about these things that I find outdoors or on the beach or in a book or wherever I might find them is that they have a larger part to play than just ending up in one piece that I make. What I want to do today is kind of take you on a little bit of a journey, show you all the different opportunities that I see within this particular piece about what's possible, what could possibly be made. Now, this is all from a conversation that I had the other day on my Substack about derivatives and the things that I make, because I find these things and then I use them in various ways. And sometimes those things end up in various things unto themselves, and sometimes they come together to create new things, and then they find their way out into the world so that other people can go make their things. But let's just talk about this one thing for a second. The first most important part is that this is not just one thing. It's actually two things, because there's also this side here. When I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about how do these two things work for me and my stuff. Really, it's not just two things, because as you can see, it's got a little flap here. And now, it's four things. Now, of course, if I were to just put this into a painting, then it's only going to be one aspect of that painting. Only one side is going to show. I have my journal right here, where this page right here is actually taken from the exact same piece that this was taken from. As you can see, it only shows itself one way. But does it really? Because when I take this and I turn it into something like this, well, this might take on an entirely new life of its own. I scan this in, and this could easily end up as an art print. It could go on a piece of merchandise. I could put it into a collection of all of these things and make it a book. By the way, here's a hot tip I've probably shared before. If you take all of your art pieces and you scan them in and you put them into one book, and then you send that book off to be copyrighted by the whatever entity in the country that you live in does copyright, then you can copyright every last bit one time as opposed to trying to copyright every single one at a time. You know what I'm saying? Make the collection, and then that becomes your copyright item. Here's a little insider information. I've been doing this for a while now, and I'm almost finished with it. And as soon as I'm finished with it, I'm going to scan every single page, and I'm going to turn that into an art zine. In a few months, I'm going to be participating in a local art event where they incorporate zines and art together. So I'm going to have my zine available. I'm going to have a new art piece available, and those kind of work together and kind of raise the awareness of all the things that I make. But we're not done yet, because even though I may have glued this into a page or up onto one of my paintings, if I planned it correctly, this thing has a life of its own. I'm scanning all of these that I find, and I've got a whole pile of them over there that still need to be done. So I'm going to take those scans and I'm going to turn them into a digital asset called poster scraps. I think I might change the name. That's the working title. So I make it into a digital asset that I can then turn around and sell to other people who might be inclined to have something like this in their own digital arsenal. Then I can take these and kind of collage them together and put them in a book form, kind of like this rad scrapbook where it has all these different textures that I've collected over time and turned into, well, different books of different things, which end up becoming new things to make and collect and share and turn into stuff. Once I have these as digital assets, I can also turn around and using them in my own digital artwork so that I can then turn around, turn them into prints, turn them into merch, turn them into new things. But I'm not done yet, because now this has made its way into content. You are actually watching content based on a scrap of paper. I might also use this as a texture that goes into a thumbnail, whether it's this video or another video. I could also use this in my blog or newsletter by turning it into content itself or using the digital imagery to make some art that goes along with that. And I'm still not done, because all of those things that I just talked about, some people may know how to do, but they may not know how to do, or they may not have the impetus to do, or they may not know exactly where to start. Then there might be courses involved in how to take something like this and turn it into whatever it is I talked about. A course about digital art, a course about digital assets, a course about making books out of digital art and digital assets, a course about making merch, a course about making prints, a course about making original art, or a course telling everybody how I use paper to make money. How much opportunity do you see now? Now, all of that, it's gonna take a tremendous amount of work. It's one of these things that I've signed up for. The problem with going about this the way I do, the way I've learned how that all of these things can become new things, become new things, and the other things can end up being something completely different. When I figured all this stuff out about myself and about the things that I find, all it did was create tons of new potential projects. I've got so many projects on my potential project list that it's gonna be a long time before I get to the bottom. I probably won't ever get to the bottom because I'm constantly thinking of new projects. The opportunity to make great things and to sell great things to people who might be interested in buying those things it's infinite. It really just comes down to being able to catch this stuff and see the opportunity, see what's out there for us, and turn that stuff into something that we might want to make. So yeah, maintaining all these projects is going to be a little bit difficult, but thank goodness I have this video right here where I talk about me managing my productivity and my creativity, and something you might appreciate. But don't go watch that one until you go down below and hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much. And share, because there's somebody else who probably wants to see this too. Let's help the world. Anyway, I gotta go. I've been Dave, you've been awesome. I'll see you next time.